Hi everyone. So I've seen somebody this morning in the office who came for obviously back pains and discomfort and stiff neck and stuff. Basically stuff I see every day. But started talking and this thing came out and that person was talking about being very tense because of a conversation situation that had a real effect on the body and that feeling. And I said, what did you feel when you start, feeling tensing up? And I was like, what's the cause of your tension, of your discomfort? Because we can look and we can work on the consequences of your tension and your back pains, but if we do not address and we can't identify what's really the cause of it. So long story short, guilt came out. And I thought okay, guilt is something I need to make a little story, a little video about, because this is something that we all relate to this. We all related to a guilt at one point or another in our life. And I guess it's something that is also related to education and to culture, religion, and it's something that is certainly not serving anyone. It does serve one of the class of people, what I call like the victims, who like to victimize themselves and who like to blame the rest of the world. And you know what? Guilt is basically your open door for people like that to make you feel more guilty. And they can only make you feel guilty if you allow them to make you feel guilty. So you have the responsibility and you have the opportunity to open or close that door. And you cannot undo the past. The past is what it is. So leave it where it is and move on from that. It's like the future is ahead. You can't undo stuff. And I was I made a video yesterday about fear, and guilt and fear, they're very much related and they work together because we're guilty that something would have, something did, that we've done something bad or we caused harm or we've hurt someone's feelings over it. But you know what? This is what we do our entire life and without even noticing it. So instead of doing that, we live in the here and now. So if we can do things different now, we will do so. And at that time we didn't know any better. So there's not even need for sorry, because I think sorry is something that flatters your ego. It's just good for pride and ego, and that feeds it. So I don't think it's really necessary. And from the moment that you can say you know what, I didn't know any better, but in today, I'll do things differently because I understood that this was dysfunctional and there are other opportunities and I'm a different person. So I can move on from that. And that's even far better than sorry, because how many times have you heard oh sorry, and that and the same pattern happens all over again. So it's that sorry doesn't mean anything. Okay, sorry, because it's good, because it has become a habit of speaking. So I really invite you to think about what is your part when you feel guilty about something. That's not something that needs to stay in you. That's something that needs to go, because that prevents you from living in the here and now. You can't be connected to right now, and if you have guilt in the past, because guilt is automatically something that's binding you, taking you time travel and you go back into the situation you feel guilty about. So again, that stops you from being happy, because guilt and there's these are things that are not compatible. And on top, if someone's feelings are hurt, that says something about the person. That doesn't say something about you necessarily, because sometimes you even say stuff that is not even meant to hurt anyone, or is and it does. So, and that's the invitation. I always ask people take responsibility for the way you feel. That old saying you make me, or he made me feel, or she made me feel, or because of you I feel. No, not because of the other shit. No, nothing. It's because of your own emotions. The emotions, they're born from within. So it's something that belongs to every single one of us. So it's our job and it's our responsibility to take care of that and to work that out. And because that's a kind of a burden that we carry along each day and of our lives, and that influences every choice and every situation. And I was talking about guilt. And you know what? The people who will be using your guilt is basically people who use that as an excuse for not wanting to take responsibility for their actions or for their choices or what they've been saying. So therefore we start like guilt tripping and we start like using and manipulating them, but that's very far away from taking responsibility. And when each person would take responsibility for their emotions, their feelings, we have another thing. In other words, we call gratitude and joy, because you can also look at it in a different way and say, you know what, you woke something up in me. Probably you didn't even mean it, or you didn't realize it, or if you did, it doesn't really matter, because that triggered something in me. And because it triggered something in me, I have an opportunity. Finally, I've got an opportunity to think about that I have some unfinished business. Something made me feel angry. Something made me feel, I feel that something is unfair. I feel betrayed. I feel abandoned. I feel misunderstood. I feel not accepted. I feel, all these things that you might feel. That's something that we project on the other, and we're constantly like mirroring. We are mirrors to each other, and being able to be a mirror for someone else, is also offering him the opportunity to change, to be more functional, because the emotion, and I love this thing, it's like, what is emotion? It's energy in motion, and that energy in motion, sometimes it's stuck, and if it's stuck, it stays stuck in your body. You feel that tension is building up. So, and that tension that is building up, that needs to flow. Life, energy flows in life. And you look at the river always like flows in the same direction. It doesn't like halfway turns around, it's like, hey, let's go back up the mountain. And no, it doesn't happen like that. It just keeps moving. And that's what we need to do. We need to move forward. So again, related to guilt, that's something that has no space in your life, no room for it. Otherwise, you will just attract more of that same energy, because like, again, an emotion, it's a frequency. It's like energy. So that's why when I use music as an example, like some sounds and some musics, they will make you feel like happy, and some makes you feel sad, and some make you feel like they're all different emotions that are related to music, because they trigger, they're vibrating, and they're meeting something that is inside you. And you have finally the opportunity to address that. So move forward, move on, leave the guilt aside, because it doesn't bring you anything good. And it's dysfunctional, and it's an old pattern, and old patterns are past. So leave it as is, move on from that, and say goodbye to your guilt, and therefore close the door to manipulation and people who will talk more guilt into your head, because we're not supposed to do that. So that was my message for you today.